A sharp pain throbbed through my entire body. I felt it especially sharply in my temples. It feels like they're ready to shatter into 1,000 little pieces, giving the wind free access to my empty head. Probably I would not have been able to stand even 5 minutes of such torture if I hadn't opened my eyes in time. I was somewhere, it was impossible to tell precisely where. My mind was clouded in mist. My thoughts were confused. The moment between the unconscious and conscious states when you vividly remember your dreams. Vulja? I was going somewhere by bus and was about to doze off, and suddenly a girl came up to me and began to speak quickly. I couldn't understand a word, but the girl looked very upset. I failed to understand what she needed from me. Time passed and she kept talking on and on. It was getting really annoying. I wanted to ask her to cut it out, or at least calm down a bit, but I failed. Either because I didn't manage to say anything, or because my words didn't reach her. I couldn't even see her face. I was simply listening and staring and listening. Perhaps it wasn't important for me then. Surely you would not try to remember what a mosquito disturbing your sleep looks like. Surely you would manage to recall the frequency of its flapping wings or inclination of its proposes after that. And this girl is just one of millions of voices that disturb you from concentrating, from thinking, and from falling asleep. Her louder voice grew, the harder it got for me to catch her words. The bus cabin, the seats worn by time, the uneven floor, the rusty ceiling, the cracked glass of the windscreen, everything was floating away, along with her. And then I felt a unique sense of relief. It didn't matter how real the bus and the girl had been. It was just nothing but a bug to me. And here I am, hanging in total emptiness and falling inside a dream. Wow, dreams can be really something. Not quite a nightmare, yet definitely not something pleasant. I got up, rubbed my face to get back to reality, gave a loud yawn and prepared to clean myself up. It was really a grey morning. Unable to find my hygiene kit on the nightstand, I concluded that I could manage without it. It was hard to get dressed, my hands were trembling like hell. I looked at my reflection in the mirror and checked out my 2-week stubble. Well, perhaps Olga has a razor. It was only when I went outside that I suddenly understood that I'm not in a pioneer camp. I'm back in my apartment, and I've just come out of my room into a passageway, not out of the cabin. I was overwhelmed with surprise, with dismay, with fear, even with terror. But how? I sat down on the bed and buried my face in my hands, trying to remember the chain of yesterday's events. Yeah, the bus, the last day of the term. Yeah, I fell asleep and woke up back home. Well, to some degree, it might even seem quite logical. It seemed that the initial It seems that the initial astonishment has worn off during the first few seconds. After all, the fact that I came back like this after a week-long absence in no stranger than my sudden appearance at some pioneer camp of the 80s in the first place. The events of the last 2 days flashed before my eyes in an instant. That mysterious pioneer, his words. But how did I manage to get back to reality then? According to him, I was going to be stuck here there forever, as there's no exit. On the other hand, I wasn't alone. The pioneer at the bus stop and the mystery voice emphasized the contrary, that the exit exists. Does that mean I found it? I managed to get out of the endless loop? But how? Nevertheless, I wasn't sure whether I should rejoice or grieve. Over the last week I would kind of gotten used to everlasting inner monologue, the search for answers and the in-depth analysis of everything, so I simply couldn't accept this fact as it was, without figuring out what exactly happened to me. Sure, he told me that I am the only one who has observed the existence of the other guys, like me during the very first loop, but does that mean anything? Anyway, all his theories and ideas constantly collapsed like a house of cards. Now I had to decide how I should react. Of course, I should rejoice. After all, I'm back to the real world. Maybe the last 7 days were just a dream? Indeed, there's obviously no evidence that I really was there. I don't see my pioneer uniform anywhere. I look my age, just like I did before. My phone is on the table, fully charged. But one can't deceive one's own memory. One can't live through such terrifically real experiences in a dream. I still remember the events of the whole week in great detail. Perhaps I was in a coma all this time? An ironic laugh escaped my lips. No, that's not an option either. Then all's well that ends well? The last 3 hours in the camp flashed through my mind. Indeed, I was hoping to get out, either from the camp or from the reality, and I was pretty much ready to another week. And another one. And another one. I accepted my role. I would reconcile with my destiny. And what was I supposed to do after all the stuff that happened? I heaved a doomed sigh, got up from my bed in considerable effort and went to my computer. That's weird, but according to it, it's only 14 hours have passed since my disappearance from this world, not a whole week. A new message in the instant messenger. Hi Semyon, yesterday it was legendary, see you later. My college friend, it was him who invited me to the party with the rest of his college friends that I was going to attend. Suddenly all my senses came back to me, the headache, the dizziness, all the symptoms of a hangover. It looks like I indeed attended a party yesterday and I was partying hard, so there was no pioneer camp? But then where did all these memories, emotions and feeling come from? All of this was so incomprehensible that I became enraged. I began cursing foully, trying to tear my hair out and hammering on the keyboard with my fists. I then returned to a normal state until there were no keys left on it. Alter, Angry German Kid oder wat? Ist er jetzt der echte Gopnik oder wie? Why should I care so much? Nobody worries when a dream or hallucination ends. Moreover, people are usually glad that it happens. Was I really that prepared to stay there, that my return to reality became so undesirable for me? And then a simple and obvious thought crossed my mind. Perhaps I'm just going insane. Indeed, madmen frequently have visions, or which they perceive as reality. Besides, I had all the symptoms of insanity. I never leave the 4 walls of my prison, I never socialize, I have lots of psychological problems. Well, that explains a lot. My dark, nervous laughter echoed in the room. Guess it's the right time for me to visit a therapist, or rather psychiatrist. Or should I just surrender myself at an asylum? Semyon, a horse, half my kingdom for a horse! I cried at the top of my lungs between bouts of a manic laughter. Dispute not with her, she's a lunatic. The racket my neighbors made on the wall calmed me down somehow. If I'm tripping that bad, it looks like I'm only a lobotomy could help me. I just had completely freaked out for several hours, doing nothing, thinking nothing, just staring at the monitor, long since gone into sleep mode. Finally I moved the mouse and opened a few tabs in the browser, so what's new? F5! As if the events of the past weeks had never happened. Come on, do you have to grieve up for hallucination? What was it real? Sure, lots of memories. Sure, lots looks true enough. By all means, yes. Any proof? Nope. The verdict is clear, as is my future course. I have long suspected that my current lifestyle wasn't doing me any good. I wasn't ready for such an unusual event, but so what? I have to be more prepared for my next trip. Night. An endless stream of threats and images took my mind off my lamentations and considerations. An instant message window popped up most unexpectedly. Hi, how are you doing? Sure, quite an original way to start a conversation. Doing fine. The contact's profile was completely empty, not even a nickname. Just a 9-digit number. You can't guess what kind of person is on the other end by just looking at the number, can you? Sure, someday it will be all different. Unified digital identifiers instead of names, a couple of symbols for biography, several bytes of personality, and 3.5 bits of feelings. Get home safely? Probably someone from yesterday's party. Seems like it. You do remember everything I told you yesterday, right? Well, I guess not. There was yet another message after a long pause. I see. Honestly, I don't give a damn who this is and why is he messaging me. Until this unidentified individual started harassing me, I could easily tolerate his presence in my contact list. Well, that's okay. We'll meet again. We surely will. Sure. Looking forward to it, yeah. Alright. Bye. I didn't reply. This odd screwed up day at last was slowly coming to an end. Going to bed, I yet again recalled in my head all the events that seemed so real for me. Where am I going to wake up tomorrow? Will these hallucinations return? No, I probably just forget everything. Strange, but now I'm really feeling that everything happening now is real. There was just a fiction, a game of deformed imagination, or really something fantastical, and here's reality. Sometimes inconvenient, sometimes it unfolds differently from how you would wish. Surprises you like this, but it's still reality. I fell asleep with these thoughts. Bit by bit my life resumed its normal course, and I started to forget the events of that week. After all, nothing bad happened. Even if it was indeed real, who cares? That were only 7 days in a pioneer camp. I wasn't killed, nobody kidnapped me to conduct experiments. I wasn't brainwashed, so why do I care now about a reason? And if it indeed was a hallucination, I could only hope that that it won't repeat itself. I was still shut in. My computer and the internet were my only friends, and the keyboard was the only communication channel connecting me to the outside world. The F5 key became the main thing in my life again. Come to think of it, it really wasn't all that bad. Yet one day, a familiar combination of digits popped out on the screen. That strange contact of mine had come online once again. Hey, how are you doing? Doing fine. Ich mach mal kurz wieder das Fenster zu. Alright. Probably I knew him from somewhere, but who cares anyway? Any news? Not really. Stability is a sign of true class? One might say so. Oh, I see. The conversation was over for me, but he didn't seem to feel like that. So nothing has changed. Nope. Should it have? Well, it's not like you experience stuff like that on a day-to-day basis. Not everybody gets to experience it either. What are you talking about? Don't you get it? I was starting to. I will prefer you to explain. Don't you remember the camp? It felt like an electric shock. All the events of that week immediately sprang up into my mind. My hands started to tremble. A cold sweat burst from my forehead. Ich wollte gerade sagen, wie viel soll noch kommen? I turned around in horror, already imagining that I will see aliens, ghosts, or the Grim Reaper. But there was nobody in my room except me, as always. I went to the corridor, checked in the kitchen, and in the bathroom, still nobody. At least I returned to the computer. The same message window was still flashing steadily, as if it was a perfectly ordinary message. Who are you? My hands were trembling so much I could hardly hit the right keys. Oh, so you do remember it? My hallucinations seem to be continuing. Or did I never leave the camp in the first place? Or it's just a dream after all? Or I don't know what to say. I admitted sincerely. Anyhow, I felt that this entity, that's the only definition that I could think of, doesn't need any kind of internet to communicate with me. Well, you can't just keep silent. Everything's perfectly clear. XD. That smiley at the end of the line looked like the devil himself, stretching its deformed jaws open to devour me. What the fuck does that for an XD smiley? What is happening to me? I finally made up my mind and to answer that question. Nothing at all. You're just living your regular life. But the camp, was it real? And what do you think? I'm not sure. If it seems real to you, then yes, it was real. If not, then it wasn't. It's just that simple. That's not simple at all. What will happen to me next? I whispered. Nothing to worry about. It seems that it really hurt me without the use of the internet. Terror chained my whole body. I closed my eyes and curled myself into a ball. Achso, das haben wir geflüstert und nicht geschrieben. Why? Why are you doing this to me? I started to lose it. Words were coming out of my mouth by themselves. Illogical, meaningless sets of words. Why? Why me? What for? What for? Leave me alone. I haven't done anything bad. Several minutes after I found the courage to open one eye and take a look at the monitor. You are the reason for everything. The message window was flickering coldly. And what's next? Oh, you'll see that soon enough. Everything started fading to black in my eyes. Noise filled my ears and I started to feel dizzy. I felt that my very soul was escaping its physical shell. The events of the last few days became hazy, as if they would all happen to someone other than me. Then the memories of the camp started to vanish, as if somebody was using an eraser to thoroughly rub out words written with a pencil. Moments later, I felt and sensed nothing, as though I was plunged into a state of cosmic bliss. If anyone saw me at the moment, they would notice that I was smiling. I'm kind of stuck here. I hit the report spam button, closed the window, switched the browser and glanced at the clock. Time to get going or I'm gonna be late. Forever alone. Well, I'm gonna be late. Ich schätze mal für den Bus, ne? Oh, es hat aufgehört, bevor die Credits überhaupt zu Ende waren, lol. Oh Gott. Semyon, gut. Oh, dann bin ich ja gespannt, wie das Bad Ending aussehen wird. Das werden wir aber vermutlich erst in der übernächsten Session erfahren, denn die nächste Session wird vermutlich Julvas Ende. Vielleicht auch das Harem-Ende, ich weiß es noch nicht. Mal gucken in der Galerie. Wie weit sind wir denn jetzt? Hier fehlt mir nur noch eins. Da haben wir jetzt Julva. Okay. Da ist voll. Da ist voll. Da ist auch voll. Ah, noch nicht ganz so voll. Auch noch nicht ganz so voll. Ja. Okay. Und danach fangen, glaube ich, die Hinterbilder an. Ja. Ui, ui, ui. Wir haben inzwischen jetzt wohl auch alle Background-Bilder. Ah, hier fehlen noch ein paar. So. Sprites. Pioneer. Okay, ich kann Twist wählen. Aha. Ich muss aber sagen, die Sprites sind eigentlich recht in hoher Qualität, wenn ich das mal so vergleiche. Ich habe ja letztes Mal wieder Kata Washoche gestartet. Verglichen damit sind die Sprites hier echt gut, also. Ne? Wer hat solche Bikinis, Boy? Also ich nicht. So, das war's auf jeden Fall mit der Session. Ich bin hundemüde und gehe jetzt pennen und ich wünsche euch auch noch einen schönen Tag, gute Nacht, schönen Abend, was auch immer. Und dann sehen wir uns wieder bei der nächsten Folge. Bis dann.